What if I told you that the most magnetic people on Earth don't chase validation, they attract it effortlessly? They don't beg to be respected, yet people naturally admire them. They don't force others to notice them because their calm presence demands attention. The secret isn't charm, looks, or money. It's something far rarer, a mindset forged in silence, discipline, and emotional mastery. This video isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about 4 Stoic habits that, once you live by them, make people see you differently, as someone unshakable, someone others desire not because you try, but because you don't need to. And by the end, you'll understand how Marcus Aurelius, a man burdened by an empire, mastered these same habits to gain not just power, but deep, lasting respect. But first, let's challenge something most people never question. Why do we even want respect? Why do we crave to be desired, to be noticed? In a world drowning in noise, everyone's screaming for attention. Yet the Stoics lived by the opposite rule: silence, restraint, self-possession. Epictetus once said, "If you wish to be admired, begin by not caring who admires you." That's the paradox. The moment you detach from needing others' approval, that's when people start giving it to you. But how do you reach that level of calm power in a world built on dopamine and distraction? That's what this journey will uncover, and each of the 4 Stoic habits we'll explore will take you closer to that magnetic self-mastery. Imagine walking into a room. No loud words, no desperate energy, yet everyone subtly notices you. Not because you're trying to impress, but because your stillness commands attention. That's the first glimpse of what we'll uncover. Marcus Aurelius didn't seek popularity, but his soldiers respected him to the point of loyalty unto death. Seneca wasn't chasing admiration, but his wisdom made him unforgettable through centuries. Epictetus was born a slave, yet his mental composure made emperors listen. The energy you radiate when you no longer need to prove anything, that's Stoic magnetism. But to live that way, you must unlearn almost everything modern life teaches, especially the idea that status or attention equals worth. We've been conditioned to believe that respect is earned by being louder, richer, more visible. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. It's earned by mastery of self. A Stoic doesn't react, they respond. They don't argue, they understand. They don't need to be right, they just need to be grounded. And this groundedness, this quiet confidence, is exactly what modern people crave but rarely find. The first Stoic habit we'll explore will show you how to win without fighting, how to make your calmness louder than other people's chaos. But before we go there, consider this. If tomorrow every compliment, every like, every validation disappeared, would your sense of worth still stand tall? Because the truth is, respect that comes from others fades quickly. But respect that grows from within, that's eternal. In this video, I'm going to guide you through these 4 habits step by step. You'll see how the ancient Stoics lived them, how you can practice them today, and how they quietly reshape the way people perceive you. But the real transformation doesn't begin when others respect you. It begins when you finally stop chasing their respect. Keep watching, because the first Stoic habit may sound simple, yet it's the foundation of every form of respect and desire you'll ever experience.
The first Stoic habit that makes people naturally respect and desire you is emotional control. It sounds simple, but it's the rarest skill in today's world. Because everyone's reacting, almost no one is responding. Think about it. In a heated argument, who truly holds power? The one shouting, or the one who remains silent, unbothered, calm? Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He wasn't writing poetry, he was reminding himself to stay calm while ruling the most chaotic empire on earth. The man who could have destroyed nations with a word had the self-discipline to pause before reacting. That pause, that calm, is the invisible weapon that commands instant respect. Today, we live in an age of emotional overexposure. Social media rewards outrage, impulsivity, and victimhood. But Stoics knew that every reaction is a surrender of power. Epictetus said, any person capable of angering you becomes your master. So every time you lose control, you hand someone else your inner peace. The Stoic, however, reclaims it, not by suppressing emotion, but by mastering it. Picture a river during a storm. Waves crashing, water swirling, chaotic on the surface, but deep below, it's still and undisturbed. That's what emotional control looks like. And when people sense that in you, they can't help but respect it, because calmness signals strength. While others spiral, you stay centered. That difference creates gravity, the quiet, mysterious kind that draws others toward you without effort. Imagine you're in a tense meeting. Everyone's stressed, voices rising, egos flaring. You, however, breathe slowly, observe quietly, and speak with intention. Instantly, the room shifts. People subconsciously adjust to your rhythm. Your calmness becomes contagious, and suddenly the loudest voices lose their power. That's Stoic control in action. The truth is, emotional discipline doesn't just make people respect you, it makes them feel safe around you. And safety in human psychology is one of the deepest forms of attraction. People desire what grounds them. They crave someone who doesn't mirror chaos, but dissolves it. But how do you build that calm power when the world constantly tries to pull you into emotional battles? The Stoics practiced a technique called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Every morning, they would visualize challenges before they happened. They imagined insults, failures, or losses, not to suffer twice, but to prepare the mind. So when reality struck, they were already emotionally ready. You can do the same. Before your day begins, imagine the worst traffic, a rude comment, a stressful call, and decide now how you'll respond. You'll find yourself immune to triggers that used to dominate you. This habit turns chaos into calm, reaction into reflection, and impulse into power. There's another layer too: silence. In Stoicism, silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom disguised. Seneca wrote, "He who knows how to be silent knows how to speak." When you resist the urge to react instantly, you train your mind to act with precision. You stop giving others free rent in your head. And as your emotional world stabilizes, your external world starts reflecting it. People begin to treat you differently, not because you demand respect, but because your composure earns it. The calm man or woman in a storm becomes the anchor everyone looks to. By mastering emotional control, you create an aura that can't be faked, a quiet authority that commands both admiration and desire. Because when you're calm, others feel your strength. And when they feel your strength, they trust you, respect you, and want to be close to you. But calmness is only the beginning. The second Stoic habit goes even deeper. It's about controlling something even more dangerous than emotions: your ego. And once you understand this, you'll see why most people lose respect the moment they start seeking it.
The second Stoic habit that makes you effortlessly respected and desired is ego mastery, the art of detaching from the need to prove yourself. Most people don't realize how subtly ego runs their life. It hides behind ambition, behind arguments, even behind the need to appear humble. But at its core, ego is the constant whisper that says, "Look at me." The Stoics saw ego as a poison, not because ambition is wrong, but because attachment to validation enslaves the mind. Seneca wrote, "He who seeks approval from all people loses himself in the process."
The more you chase validation, the more you depend on others to define your worth. But when you stop chasing, when you no longer need to be seen as special, paradoxically, that's when you start to stand out. Think about it. You've met people who walk into a room trying too hard. They brag, they overtalk, they seek attention. And instead of admiration, they trigger silent irritation. Then there are others, quiet, grounded, self-contained. They don't compete, yet they dominate. That's what happens when the ego dissolves. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, one of the most powerful men in history, reminded himself daily, "Do not waste time thinking about what others think of you." This wasn't arrogance, it was discipline, because he understood that ego makes you reactive. Humility makes you magnetic. When you're detached from proving anything, your presence feels effortless, authentic. That's what truly attracts people. Authenticity wrapped in calm confidence. The Stoics taught that ego blinds you to truth. Epictetus compared it to smoke clouding a mirror. You can't see reality clearly when your mind is obsessed with how it appears. Every reaction, every insecurity, every need for recognition, it's ego demanding control. But a Stoic learns to observe it, not obey it. Imagine scrolling social media. You see someone achieving what you want, a better body, more followers, more wealth. Instantly, envy whispers, "You're behind." That's ego. The Stoic response? Observe, don't identify. You tell yourself, their path is theirs, mine is mine. You refocus on your actions, not comparisons. Over time, this rewires your mind for peace and power, because nothing others do can disturb you anymore. Ego isn't just about arrogance. It also disguises itself as insecurity. Both come from the same root, the fear of being less. But Stoicism destroys that fear by teaching radical self-ownership. You don't need to be more, you just need to be sovereign. You control your thoughts, your choices, your reactions. That's all you ever truly own. When Seneca lost his fortune and his political influence, he didn't beg it for back. He said, "Wealth is the slave of a wise man and the master of a fool." His dignity didn't depend on his status. It was rooted in self-command. When you detach from the need for validation, you rise above the games that make others weak. People sense that independence, and it draws them in. So start practicing ego mastery daily. Don't explain yourself unnecessarily. Don't chase approval. When criticized, stay calm. When praised, stay humble. This balance turns you into the kind of person people can't label, and that mystery commands attention. But even deeper than ego lies another Stoic secret, a habit that builds unshakable respect, not through words or image, but through discipline. And when you master it, you'll realize why true desire isn't about appearance, it's about consistency.
The third Stoic habit that commands both respect and desire is ruthless self-discipline. While the world worships comfort, the Stoic worships control. Not control over others, but over themselves. Marcus Aurelius rose every morning before dawn, despite ruling an empire, to write, reflect, and train his mind. Why? Because he believed that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. The Stoic secret wasn't motivation. It was mastery of routine. They knew discipline is freedom disguised as effort. The man or woman who cannot keep promises to themselves will never command respect from others. You don't earn admiration by talking about your goals. You earn it by quietly and relentlessly doing what most people won't. Seneca once said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." The modern version, surround yourself with discipline. When your environment rewards laziness, build habits that punish it. Wake up early not because it's trendy, but because you own your time. Train your body not to show off, but to sharpen your mind. Read before you scroll. Reflect before you react. Every small act of discipline builds an invisible wall around your self-respect. People can sense it. The way you move, speak, decide, it all radiates structure. And in a chaotic world, structure is power. Discipline isn't just about doing hard things, it's about refusing easy ones. Every time you choose discomfort over indulgence, you grow. And growth over time becomes magnetism. Epictetus, born into slavery, had every reason to live bitterly. Yet he said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." He turned pain into philosophy, limitations into leverage. That's what Stoic discipline really means, to act according to principle, not impulse. You don't chase pleasure because pleasure follows purpose. You don't complain about effort because effort is the foundation of character. The Stoic doesn't rely on motivation, they rely on habits. They don't say, "I feel like it," they say, "It must be done." And when others see that level of consistency, it forces admiration. People respect what they cannot easily replicate. Discipline is rare, and rarity commands value. But there's a deeper reason discipline attracts desire. It communicates self-worth. The disciplined person signals to the world, "I am capable of governing myself." That confidence isn't loud, it's stable, grounded, and powerful. Think of a person who maintains composure when insulted, keeps focus when distracted, and honors their word even when no one's watching. That's Stoic discipline in motion, and it's irresistible. Because we subconsciously crave people who can lead themselves. Leadership begins internally. And when your habits are aligned with your values, you stop living reactively. You start living intentionally. Now here's the challenge the Stoics would issue to you. What would your life look like if you acted only from discipline, not emotion, for the next 7 days? If you woke up when you said you would, finished what you started, and didn't complain once? That's not a motivational slogan. That's the test of freedom. The disciplined person doesn't need external rules because they've built an empire within. And this internal empire is what others feel when they meet you, a kind of quiet strength that words can't explain. But even discipline isn't the final step. There's one last Stoic habit that ties everything together, a habit that turns respect into reverence and attraction into deep influence. It's the rarest one of all, living with purpose, guided by values larger than yourself. And once you understand it, you'll never need to chase admiration again, because your very existence will inspire it.
The fourth and most powerful Stoic habit that makes people deeply respect and desire you is living with purpose and virtue. The first three habits, emotional control, ego mastery, and discipline, shape your outer strength. But this one defines your soul. It's the foundation of everything. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The Stoics believed that true power doesn't come from wealth, status, or talent. It comes from moral clarity. To them, virtue wasn't a vague concept. It was action, integrity in every decision, courage in every hardship, justice in every interaction, and wisdom in every silence. When your actions align with your principles, you radiate something magnetic, not performance, not perfection, but authenticity. People can sense when you are anchored by purpose. It creates an energy that's impossible to fake, an aura of trust, strength, and peace. But here's what most never realize. Purpose isn't found, it's chosen. The Stoics didn't wait for signs or passions. They decided what values mattered and lived by them, no matter the cost. Seneca said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." Meaning doesn't appear. It's built through consistent, value-driven action. So ask yourself, what do you stand for when no one's watching? Do you keep promises that inconvenience you? Do you act with kindness when there's nothing to gain? That's virtue in motion. And it's what separates the truly powerful from the performative. Because while charisma fades, virtue compounds. People respect someone who stands for something real. And in a world of masks and noise, that kind of sincerity becomes irresistible. Modern life tempts us to live reactively, chasing what's shiny, comparing, consuming endlessly. The Stoic life reverses that. You become intentional. You don't scroll aimlessly, you study. You don't gossip, you reflect. You don't follow trends, you create standards. Every action becomes a reflection of your philosophy. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. This radical simplicity made him unstoppable. Because when you stop living by public approval and start living by principle, you become fearless. People sense that, the calm certainty of someone who cannot be bought, swayed, or manipulated. That's not arrogance, that's alignment. And alignment, in human psychology, translates as power. Think of the people you admire most, the ones who move differently, speak with conviction, and leave you thinking long after they're gone. What makes them so unforgettable isn't looks or charm, it's clarity. They know who they are. They live from their core. That's what Stoic purpose gives you, the ability to move through life as a steady flame, not a flickering spark. You no longer seek attention because your mission itself commands it. People don't just respect you, they trust you. They don't just desire you, they feel inspired to rise to your level. And the irony? You didn't have to chase a single one of them. You simply became what they were looking for all along. So remember this, respect is not requested, it's reflected. Desire is not pursued, it's attracted. The Stoic doesn't try to impress the world, they quietly reshape it through presence, principle, and purpose. When you master these 4 habits, emotional control, ego detachment, self-discipline, and virtuous purpose, you become a force that doesn't beg for attention, it commands it. Live these habits consistently, and you'll never again need to ask, do people respect me? Because they won't just respect you, they'll remember you. They'll talk about you when you're not in the room. They'll follow your example without realizing it. And maybe years from now, when someone asks who inspired their strength, they'll think of you, the quiet one who led through calm, lived with purpose, and proved that the most attractive power in this world is the one that doesn't need to shout.